This is Chance George reporting for Truth Talk Radio on Global Fact. This week's show we were going to talk about the Boston lies. We have suspect's family confirms Boston lies on episode 44 of Truth Talk. And I had to give a brief update in between shows because we only air once a week, and some breaking information over the weekend. I noticed on Press for Truth TV, Dan Dix had reported that he made contact with Maret, the aunt of the suspects from the Boston bombing, patsies, I guess we could call them. And he said that he had spoke with her, and she made claims about seeing her nephew on TV as the naked man, and so he wasn't confirmed dead. He would have been taken in alive. This is before they apprehended the second suspect, who now miraculously cannot speak either. So I guess Dan and I were thinking alike, because the same day, or maybe even the day before, I had contacted her and got an interview with her as well. Now, while I was doing this, I guess I had the foresight to hit record before I even got on the phone with her, and I guess I lucked out, because Dan had caught himself at a door buzzer and didn't get his recording equipment out in time. So I have everything here on tape in different clips, and I wanted to play them. I just kind of wanted to get a lot of this information out, because after seeing this lady on TV being portrayed as a crazy conspiracy lady and talking about crazy ideas, I had to talk to her. This sounds like my kind of lady. So after Google searching her and finding her information on the internet, thanks Google, I was able to locate her and call her numerous times, and eventually she was able to speak to me, and it took a lot of reassuring. Like Dan said, she eventually broke down at one point in time. Numerous times she had to ask me what my name was, who is this, over and over. So I'm going to play at least about 10 or so clips here. So I'll go through them one by one, and I'll give a brief narration in between each one. The first one I'm going to play is just, she keeps saying, "What is your name? What is your name?" It's when I first called, and then we'll get into the very next clip, which is as soon as I called, the first basic words out of her mouth when I let her speak. I got my hellos and all that in. And she basically said these will become part of a conspiracy. So.
Hi, is this Margaret?
Who is that?
I was calling from Truth Talk Radio. This is Chance George. I saw you recently in the news. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
And who did you say you are?
It's Chance George. I'm from Truth Talk Radio. It's an internet radio show, and we were looking into what happened recently in the news.
And what is your question?
My question is, I believe that I saw your interview, and I believe that a lot of the radio stations and news is misrepresenting you, and they're making it look like your family's responsible, whereas I believe that this is untrue, and that your family, it looks like it's being a setup by different government agencies. Is that more of the message that you're trying to get across?
This is what I was trying to get across. These two boys have been falsely accused, and they became a part of some kind of conspiracy.
Now, immediately I asked her if she had got into any way of communicating with any kind of media besides the mainstream, because we all know what happens when you call MSNBC, CNBC, CBS. You basically get the same dude looking at it, shaking his head, thinking, "No way, I'm going to the next Bilderberg meeting," and have my outlet being the one who outs everybody. So basically, this all gets suppressed. Have you tried going to somewhere like the Alex Jones, Jesse Ventura, this type of alternative conspiracy-based media? You know, something that could get out there. A Drudge Report. You know how it's been demonized. and she said yes. She actually talked to Glenn Beck. She got in touch. She initiated contact with him. She got in touch with Glenn Beck, and she tried to go on his show and talk about this. And he yelled at her and said that they had all the facts, everything was all wrapped up, and I don't know if this got aired or what happened, but she said that she had got yelled at by him, and Glenn Beck, what the hell, buddy? You go on there and you claim that you're going to go and release all this information on Monday and bring down the government, and you didn't even jump on this. Like, what's going on, buddy? Here's a clip.
It was actually me who initiated the call to Glenn Beck's radio.
Okay, yeah.
And they put me through with some kind of radio show on internet line. And that person just, screamed at me like crazy. He said, "Are you insane? We've got all the evidence. Are you refusing to believe these honest professionals who are, giving out information and statements?" He was just, lashing that out, screaming like crazy. And all I said is, then prove it.
Glenn Beck, you make me sick. You're supposed to be some big journalist. You have this big platform. Everybody looks at you like you're the alternative to the mainstream. You make me sick. Alright, buddy? This woman comes on your show pleading with you that her family's being set up. They're the next Oswalds, the next Patsy that is to be set up, demonized, murdered, killed. She's coming to you for help, and you yell at her, and you treat her like garbage, and you move on. Okay? Glenn Beck, you're a piece of garbage. We got into, I asked her, since the evidence that she said all they had was pictures, I said, has she seen the other pictures that have showed up? Because if you're guilty for just being two gentlemen at a sports race, there's a lot of other guilty parties there. I said, and it looks pretty fishy when you see these Navy SEALs and all that. And she agreed with me that there was a lot of activity with that, and she had seen the pictures. It was just a brief clip of her stating that she was aware of the FBI or the Navy SEALs or the different professional teams with the people who were wearing the khaki pants, the khaki shoes, and the different groups of people who were wearing the red hats, so they were all basically the same. I'll be throwing pictures up on screen as I'm scrolling through this in this little mini report. And if you tune in to Truth Talk this Wednesday, all this will be broken down completely, way more in detail, more clips, more everything, all kinds of links. I was going to do a huge show, and I just couldn't wait anymore. I was waiting on it since like Friday or Saturday. I was sitting on all this information. Then I saw Dan Dick's going to go post, and I thought, oh my God, he just beat me to it. And then I heard he didn't get it on tape, and people, I've seen some of the comments are a bunch of douchebags who are like, oh, that means he's lying, just from him describing his conversation with her. It's exactly the same thing as I had, and it was the same conversation. And then she duped me too the second time when she told me to call back. I called back, and all of a sudden I get, we'll get into that when I called back. Okay, so here's our next clip. It's the Navy SEALs. Check this out.
Now, are you aware of the photographs that have come out showing different Navy SEAL teams and different, they're basically like Blackwater, different groups that were at the scene? That
I've seen that. I seen that material yesterday, but it was in the middle of this ugly commotion that was happening here. But I got the point of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like she's saying, when I first saw her in the news, she grabbed like a news reporter's cell phone away when they were saying, look at the pictures of your nephews, right? They're right here they are at the race. And she said, this is all you have, pictures of them at the race. Where's your evidence? And that's part of our next clip. So here, that's basically what she's describing is, where's your evidence? Like, you're going around, you're making up all these things. She's saying they're not a part of any organizations, anything like that. So
I know that people would say these are only words.
Well,
but on the other hand, when as an outsider, I would go and analyze the information that was given out by federal agencies. All I can see is just pictures of those two, and the rest of it, statements that they are making without any supporting evidence. They point out to their guilt.
Well, my radio show that we host, we've been digging since the moment this has happened, and we have numerous amounts of evidence disproving that your family is involved, actually proving that the government's involved, and this is a staged operation.
Here's a bit more of the same thing.
All they have now at this point is that the footage of our boys just walking on the streets, the streets of that, of Boston.
They have been turned into patsies, into someone who's being accused to get an agenda across.
Something is happening. Something strange is happening there.
Now, once again, she gets basically very sketchy in the middle. It's like she's hearing things, or there's other people knocking or calling, or she has other lines going because she keeps asking me, "Who are you? Who is this? What is your name?" And I keep spelling my name and giving her a name, and it just kept happening over and over, and it must have happened 15 times, so I'll just show you the one time. She's already asked me at the beginning a couple times. She asked me again at the end my name. So here's just that. We'll get back into some more, but I know how paranoid she must seem.
What is your name?
My name is Chance George. I'm from Truth Talk Radio. It's an internet radio that goes out weekly. You could look up my show. All I talk about is how the government has been screwing people from day one and how everyone is being misrepresented. Chance George, Chance, George, George.
Now the next couple things is where it gets really kind of damning. I've seen more than one comment on a number of different blogs, especially after Dan released his, where everyone keeps saying she may disagree and she may believe this, but she hasn't said they're set up. She just thinks there's questions. She never clearly states they've been set up. Well, here's her, flat out on the record, 100% saying they were set up. She almost stops halfway through it and then she doubles back and repeats herself. They were set up.
It's important to get your side across because the more people just hear sound bites and sound clips, they think this lady obviously doesn't know what she's talking about, or the evidence is already wrapped up. This is completely false and untrue. Do you have any comment on that?
If people think that it has been wrapped up, obviously it is enough for them to feel that, this has been wrapped up. If you ask me, there is a very minimum and limited information that they gave out in order to prove their guilt or to prove accusations that were made against them. All I can say, they have been set up.
Like I said, folks, she straight up said it. They have been set up. I wouldn't lie to you, man. I'm not married to you. Now, the next part, because it was happening right as they were taking the second suspect, her nephew, into custody, she basically was saying that they're not going to let him leave. They're going to kill him. They're never going to let him have a voice to speak. Now, I took it the same way she was taking it, that they were going to kill him. When I was seeing it the night before on the news, that they were apprehending the suspect, I was like, oh yeah, these guys are dead for sure. Sure enough, you get the reports of the first one being dead, and the second one now has a hole in the throat from what they say is a self-inflicted gunshot so that he didn't have to speak or so he would die, something retarded. whatever they say is crap, okay? As soon as I hear what them talking, I know they're lying. So here's him or her straight up saying that he wouldn't have a voice. Okay, so we took it as they would kill him. We didn't actually think they would like pull his throat out of his head. This is just retarded.
It's just, you see, I would feel that if I tell you what I feel and know, and that would be even enough for me to know that you know what I say. And now when they've got Jihad, I have a strong feeling they will not let him to survive, because they would not want him to have a voice to say that he's innocent, that he didn't do it, and his brother didn't do it.
Are you following where this is going? She didn't think they would let him have a voice. Okay? This is like insanity. Not only is it completely correct, I was sure they were going to kill him, but they cut his throat out, man. Tracheotomy, man, and whatever they did to him. It's complete bullshit. Let's listen to that again, but this one, it goes a little bit farther, and the clip goes a little bit longer.
It's just, you see, I would feel that if I tell you what I feel and know, and that would be even enough for me to know that you know what I say. And now when they've got Jihad, I have a strong feeling they will not let him to survive, because they would not want him to have a voice to say that he's innocent, that he didn't do it, and his brother didn't do it.
That's exactly what I corrected.
When that happens, you will know what I was talking about.
That's exactly what I predicted on my show last night when they said they had captured one and they were in the middle of capturing the second. I predicted there's no way they're going to let these two gentlemen out alive, because it would come out that they were merely patsies and this was a cover-up, a false flag.
That's exactly what it is.
Alright, now this is basically where I got the shittiest end of the stick, and I can only basically try and confirm what Dan Dix was saying with my own opinion, because I was told the exact same thing he was told on the phone. But at this point in the interview, because I'm using a primitive setup, I have my piece of NSA tracking device, I like to call it, my little cell phone, and I put that on my laptop and I hit sound recorder in your accessories file. It's such an easy, simple concept. As long as you talk on speakerphone, I basically record everybody that I want to talk to that's like not a personal buddy. Side issue. Anyway, as I'm using this sound recorder, just a primitive little setup that I have, I must have hit my mouse, or I got a beep, or something happened where I touched my phone and it stopped recording. And it said, like, it gave me the prompt, you know, where you have to rename your file. So I renamed the file radio interview real fast, hit save, pulled it back up, and then tried to hit the button without disturbing her. But this just happened to be at the exact time that she started getting upset and talking about the real scary part, as she was talking about they would leave the other brother with no voice. He was saying that she's all upset because the real scary part, she doesn't want to tell anybody. They're going to kill him as well. I guess she didn't know that they had killed him. Was the news media was reporting the first brother was murdered by police gunfire and by the second suspect running him over with a car. And apparently when the naked man was arrested, the man they arrested suspected he had bombs on them, took all his clothes off, and he was photographed, and the photographs showed up on the internet. She says this was her nephew. So just to confirm what Dan said, I didn't get that part on tape. I got everything else, but you've got to believe me. I'm corroborating what Dan's saying. Like, we're both just sitting here making this shit up. You know what I mean? It's retarded. Everything else is here on tape. I've got everything else. I managed to get back on as she was basically saying her goodbyes. I thanked her, and she said goodbye, Chance. She finally got my name right. So here's just my final little her clip goodbye. This is all I got for right this minute that I wanted to get right online immediately. More to come this Wednesday on Truth Talk, Global Fact Radio. So if you go to Blog Talk Radio, this is where we host. Type in Truth Talk, type in Global Fact Radio. You'll see our upcoming episode, Truth Talk, episode 44. That's it, folks.
I hope I can try and get your message out without having the slander of the mainstream media corrupting your information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chance.
Bye.